The SEC, baby, is holding it down for the Elite Eight. Here we go. Two teams that maybe we thought that would do it. It yeah, I'm biased. I'm biased tonight. Maybe my co-host Chris, maybe he won't be so forgiving and so generous. But Chris, how you doing tonight, man?
Well, do you want the real answer to that?
I want the down dirty real answer. I want it. Give it to me.
The down and dirty is I'm sick to my stomach because North Carolina State men and women within 7 minutes of each other both qualified for the Elite Eight, and I'm just tore up over it because I can't stand North Carolina State.
Really?
Well,
That is very. And North Carolina State is playing some. Those guys are rolling in, playing great basketball with nothing in the world to lose right now. They're not supposed to be here, so these guys are playing with house money every single ball game. But
yep.
what about having? The SEC started with 8 teams in the round of 64, 8, whatever it is, and now it's down to 4 Elite Eights. It's down to 8 teams, and we got 2 teams: the Alabama Crimson Tides and the Tennessee Volunteers. Congratulations to you guys for making it, for winning it. Chris, what's your thoughts on these teams? Matter of fact, what's your thoughts on these teams making it?
Alabama surprising, Tennessee not so much.
I have to agree with that statement.
I've said all year Tennessee was the best team in the SEC.
Okay.
I've said it all year. I don't shy away from that. As much as I hate Tennessee, I have to respect they were the best team in the SEC all year.
I got you.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Alabama surprising. Remember, Alabama lost by 40. Tennessee beat them boys by like 40.
Well, it would be good to see them back in playing for the championship together. That would be good.
How does a team lose it by 40 get in the Elite Eight?
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of March Madness. All you got to do is just get hot for a certain amount of games, and anything can happen.
Right.
As North Carolina State, they're just doing everything they got to do to get past these teams. So these guys are Alabama is definitely here to play, and it looks like Nate Oates got these guys ready.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He does. I don't know what button he pushed, but he pushed the right one.
And one of the things that I was, first of all, right now, I personally think that the shocker is Alabama over North Carolina. I said in my last show, I didn't really think that Alabama had enough to last, and I was really curious about which Alabama team would show up. Are they gonna? Because Alabama, let's just be real, they don't have the best defensive team in the world, but those guys can shoot lights out. So what they did just enough to get enough stops to be able to get back into the ball game and then find a way to take a lead and then find a way to hold off. And I think in this is all you ask for right here. Is North Carolina a better team than Alabama? Probably
yeah.
so. If they play 10 times, does Alabama win more than probably 2 times? Probably not. But that's the whole beauty, once again, of NCAA basketball. It only takes one game, and on this particular day, the Alabama Crimson Tide made a way to win this ball game, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's all that's important. Hey, I ain't going to shy away from it. I said in your chat last night before the game started, North Carolina was going to beat them by 20.
Hey, you sure did.
Because they're athletically, they are far superior than Alabama.
They are. Yep.
But, oh boy, went off last night and joined an elite club of one player and one player only.
I mean, and that's the joy. This is like this is when stars are made. This is when people's names are out there in the street. And when I still got to go back and watch the replay. But as far as Sirius, like the point guard, everyone kind of put it on his shoulders. What kind of leader is he going to be? But in games like this, you never know who that unsung hero will be. And it stepped up, and he said, "Okay, the game is coming to me in a very high way, and he took over the ball game.
Yeah.
Nelson, I think it was.
Yep. Grant
Yeah,
Nelson.
and
There was something he did that put him in an elite category of he's the only player to ever do it. It was like something about how many points he had, how many rebounds, how many block shots. It was just crazy.
yeah,
And then there was, if you leave one of those details out, it puts him in a category with Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and a couple other dudes. It's just unreal what he did last night.
I mean, and that's the coaches depend on when one person is not playing. When our star player is not playing at his high level, who's going to be the next man up? And I think in that situation, there you go. You looked at him and you said, if I got to step up and be the star tonight, and I do whatever the team needs me to do, then that's exactly what you need from your players. And he's actually from the transfer portal.
Yeah,
So that's the benefit of the transfer portal for a team like Alabama.
right.
That's the benefit of Tennessee picking up DK in their transfer portal. You got two transfer portal guys who are making the biggest impact, and that's why the transfer portal is so important to a lot of teams. A lot of teams got to go out and they got to find those guys that can just help push them right over the curb to just get to where they're going at. So it matters what happens after now, but at least they're part of the last 8 teams who has the privilege of going to the Elite Eight. And
Hmm.
Alabama will be taking on Clemson. And
That
uh,
bracket couldn't have fell any better for him.
Alabama could have never guessed that this right here would have went this way. I mean,
No,
when you look at when the brackets came out, and if anyone would have said that Alabama has to beat Clemson to go to the Final Four, dude, that's
so
unbelievable.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's just, how that bracket fell is just absolutely amazing to me. Of course, that's not the bracket I had blown up, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point.
Well, I think a lot of brackets blew up in the first night. The brackets blew up. At least
I
for
was
Kentucky fans, I would say that a lot of brackets broke up, but like no one really thought that. Um, and then Arizona getting beat by Clemson. I don't think anybody really. I don't.
no,
I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think
not at
Arizona is
all.
a really good team, and I don't think anybody saw Clemson knocking off those guys the way they did.
Right. I didn't see that one going the way it did. As far as my bracket, mine got blown up in the second round. Okay. I had Kentucky winning one game and then getting beat in the second round, which, you know, that's what I expected to happen. I didn't expect Oakland, Fred Flintstone dude to come out shooting threes like he did.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
I
one that
think
got
coming in.
me was
Yeah.
James Madison, the way they had played all year,
Yeah.
and Duke coming out and playing the best basketball game I've seen them play in 10 years. That's the one that got me. I actually had James Madison going to the Final Four.
And now look at Duke. Duke is sitting in the Elite Eight. Ugh. As
And
a
I know
Kentucky fan,
I
I got to see Duke and Tennessee in the Elite Eight.
and I know you hate this,
Yeah.
but if there's one team I want to see get beat other than North Carolina State, it's Purdue, because big boy Zach Edey gets away with a lot of garbage when he plays, and they don't ever call him on it. And if there's one team left that I think can take him out other than UConn, somebody let Filipowski trip him a couple times.
So if I'm correct, we actually have Tennessee will be playing Purdue in the Elite Eight.
Oh, Tennessee gets Purdue.
Yeah, because they're both in the Midwest. They're both in the Midwest. Yeah. So you got Tennessee playing Gonzaga. You can fact check me if you want to. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at it, and I think that it. I think I think Tennessee should be playing. Is that how it goes, or is it the South that plays the? Is it South? Is it the South that plays the Midwest, or is it Midwest? Because they're both in the same region.
They're in, I thought Tennessee was in the opposite region as Purdue,
No, they're
and
in the
that
Midwest as
they
well
would
too.
play in
Yeah.
the Final Four.
So they, but they play in the Elite Eight though, don't they?
I think I'm pretty sure Duke is playing Purdue in the Elite Eight.
Alabama's playing Clemson. UConn's playing Illinois. And Tuesday, well, somewhere Monday. Where's that at? Oh, it hasn't updated. It's a Sunday. So Illinois is
Duke,
playing
Duke,
UConn.
North Carolina State. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I thought it was the other way around.
yeah. Yeah, so that because they're both in the Midwest. So I think Tennessee can get them. I think Tennessee has enough big guys. I think they have enough. Their guys are pretty physical, and I think Edie's going to have his hands full all ball game long. And I think if Tennessee just keeps running guys at him and just keeps throwing that body at him, I really think Tennessee has a chance to really knock off Purdue and make it to the make it to the Final Four. But at the end of the day, UConn, I think UConn is, I think they're above everybody right now, and I don't know if anybody's going to beat UConn. I really see UConn doing a repeat.
Yeah, that I thought them and North Carolina were the best two teams in the country
Yeah,
when the tournament started.
yeah. And for me, I'm shocked that Illinois was able to actually beat Iowa State.
They held on there. They really
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
That was a good ball game. They held on.
yeah. So I was surprised to see that, but for me, I would have had Iowa State would have been the team that would have gave UConn a real test. But I
Right,
mean, Illinois, those guys got some big guys as well too.
right.
So they got some guys that can actually that can actually run at those guys, and let's see if we can win the ball game. But I think this is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fun. This is the most I've watched the tournament in the last few years, only because Kentucky hasn't been doing anything at all. So I've had no need to watch it. And while I'm a college basketball fan, it's too hard knowing that Kentucky squandered the chance to play further into the tournament like they doing. And then when you got the teams that you hate the most, it's really hard to be able to sit here and watch these guys playing when you know that you guys was good enough to be there. You just didn't
So
play like you was.
I saw a stat going into the Elite Eight
Okay.
of the 80 players that were left on the tournament. Is it 80 players or 80 starters? Only 3 freshmen were starting in
And
the
see, there
entire
you
Elite
go.
Eight.
Because I don't think
And if you
Duke. I know.
yeah,
I bet
if
you
you want
Duke
to know
got
what
some of them.
Kentucky's problem is, that's what the problem is right there.
Too many freshmen. Well, and it showed even.
Yeah,
It showed even with a team like Oakland that those upper class guys, the guys that they might not have a lot of experience in the NCAA tournament, but they got a lot of experience playing college basketball,
yes,
and that
sir.
was the difference right there. And I don't. We as Kentucky, we know for a fact that we did not respect those guys enough to say we got to watch film, we got to study our opponent, and that was the
Yep,
downfall, and that's something that we as fans, because John Calipari let the fan base down, and he let the younger guys down by saying it's not that important to respect your opponent and don't study him. Let's just go out and do what we've been doing and putting the ball in the basket, and we'll beat these guys easily. And that was the mistake right there. So everyone in here, you can tell that these guys are scouting what they're doing, and so we out. And the only thing we can do is hope for next year to be more effective, and we'll see.
hmm
Yeah.
So, uh, have you heard any noise on your transfer portal at Kentucky other than Thierra?
I haven't heard. I haven't heard anything yet. It's amazing when I go to bed. When I go to bed over here, nothing's really going on, and then when I wake up, it's like it's like the sky has sometimes turned upside down.
Mhm.
So I'm waiting. Have you?
I hadn't heard anything about it today. I know Vanderbilt actually picked up a portal commitment today.
You guys got the guy, the James Madison, didn't you?
The 6'7" freshman with the big body that played. He averaged 7 points a game at James Madison this year,
Okay,
coming off the bench, and he's got one of them. He's got one of them big bodies that
got one of them
you
big
know,
bodies.
yeah,
Yeah,
can
and
can beat and bang a little bit. But he was a freshman this year. Let's be real. He'll be a sophomore next year, but that's a good get because you got to have a couple of them beef dudes.
oh, you got to, and in Kentucky, outside of really a dude, Mitchell is
Nobody,
not too bad, but
yeah,
still, some guys look the part, and you know what I'm
right.
saying?
They
Yeah,
looked the part,
they look the part.
chiseled and thick.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope Cal is able to pick up the guy from. Is he from Rutgers? I think it is. That big 6'11" guy they got from Rutgers. You look at him and he looks massive, and he looks like I'm ready to play basketball right now. And that's the kind of guys that these teams need. So
We
um,
want we want Big Pookie at Kentucky.
exactly. So
If you haven't seen the Big Pookie videos playing basketball, you'll get the joke when you watch it.
good. I definitely will. So
He
uh,
don't play defense. He struggles to get up and down the court, but you give him an open three, he's in the bottom of that thing.
oh, I have seen him play before. I have seen him play before. Yeah, that guy can ball, man.
He's
Yeah.
like, dude's like, let's go Big Pookie, let's go Big Pookie. Oh, I got to get Big Pookie in New Jersey next year because he's going to be a lot bigger.
He's getting bigger.
He's getting
Yeah.
bigger.
Just keep hitting those shots. So, which one of these SEC teams make it to the Final Four? Call it.
uh,
I
which one
got,
makes it to the Final Four? I got to call it, huh?
yeah. Is
There's
it
my
both?
answer. There's my
Huh?
answer.
Ugh. I know. I got to
There-
sit here.
There's my answer.
I,
No,
uh,
I think Tennessee's got a better opportunity. Well, I take that back. Tennessee's got their work cut out because Purdue's got Zach Edey.
yeah.
So if I had to depend on which team has a better chance, it's Alabama.
I was going to say that too.
But
Yeah.
what team do I think is better is Tennessee by far.
For me, Purdue has been so close, and so many people. First of all, they had players come back, and also Purdue has been so close, and now I think they really, really want to win it for their coach this year. Um,
Hmm.
I don't think Edie's going to be enough though, because Tennessee just has some. I think that Tennessee team, when they show up, these guys are so close to the big dance, so close to the Final Four. I think those guys will come out unbelievably physically, and I think that's gonna be the one thing that we'll be able to get past Purdue. And I got both SEC teams making it to the Final Four. I got Alabama beating Clemson and Tennessee beating Purdue. Yeah,
Okay.
you got to call it.
Got to call it.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
So
I called it. I had no answer.
So so you have both teams making it to the Final Four. I'm sorry.
No. You said which one do I think makes it? And my
you, you said I plead the fifth on all of that. My
so
vocal.
so here's the thing. Alabama's got the better chance,
Okay,
but the way Clemson's played, they're a handful.
they are a handful, man. They are.
You know, can Alabama keep up the defense? You know, they can't keep giving up 80 points a game
Okay,
and expect to win.
yeah.
Tennessee, Zach Edey, Zach Edey. But Dalton Connect too. So,
Yeah,
you know, I like how Tennessee was able to pretty much control the paint in the second half tonight,
yeah.
which they did a great job of that in the second half. But if they don't control the paint against Edey, is Connect going to be enough?
And I think that's of course that's been the big question all year long. Is it looks like Tennessee actually had guys show up tonight and actually contribute on the offensive side of the ball. When I look at the scoring and everything, I think the big difference is you had James at 17 points, you had Connect with 24, you had Ziegler with 18. So those and those Ziegler and James was another
If
reason why they was able to come into Rupp Arena and knock off Kentucky the way they did
if
is
they don't
because you
score,
had
they're in trouble.
production from those guys.
Yeah, if those two don't score, they're in trouble.
They're in trouble, exactly. And if they come out and they do this, and Ziegler also pitched in 6 assists, so he played his point guard role, and he was able to still put points on the board. And when you do that with those three guys scoring the way that they did,
Hmm.
that's a possibility for those guys to come out and actually win the ball game. For Alabama, who actually was really scoring the ball for those guys. See, you had four different guys that was actually playing good basketball. You had Nelson who had 24, Estrada 19, Griffin 19, Sirius 18. When you have that type of scoring, you got four of your five starters with 18 plus points.
Hmm.
You talking about spreading the wealth. You talking about spreading the ball. You talking about playing good even offense. Nelson had a double double with 12 rebounds. Other guys are going to have to step up and rebound the basketball. They can't rely on him. But Pringle had 9 rebounds himself too. He did his job. Pringle didn't score a lot of points, but he hit the board. That's
Hmm.
what you want. That's what you want out of your athletes. If I'm not scoring the basketball, what else can I do to help my team to win basketball games? And I think that's the biggest thing right there is I'm not playing great offense, but I'm gonna hit the boards for you, and that's just as important as scoring the basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, but they also got to, Alabama's also got to figure out a way to stop somebody from scoring because that's one thing they don't do.
exactly. And that's what even coming into the North Carolina game, that's kind of what scared me as well too because they had four out. They let four guys for UNC score 12 plus points. So
Yeah.
that's something that those guys can't do when they go into this ball game if they want to advance. I'm looking at the Clemson game and I'm looking as they had three guys to score 14 plus points. And that's something that Alabama, if they can keep that to a low, they had nobody in double figures in rebounds. If Alabama can crash the boards and
Mhm.
have the equal share of people scoring the basketball, I don't see why Alabama can't win this ball game. Alabama
Right.
should advance to the Final Four for sure. They should win it. So we'll definitely wait and see what happens. The games are actually being played. Let's see. I think they not today. Sunday. Sunday for me is Saturday night for you guys. Illinois takes on UConn and Alabama takes on Clemson
It'll
for a
be
chance
Sunday
to.
morning for you, right?
Yeah, it'd be 1 a.m. for the UConn game and 3:49 for the Alabama game would be in the morning for me. So I'm wondering if it's worth my time getting up, losing sleep. But since I
Right.
get up at 1:30, then
Yeah.
I definitely will. I definitely will check it out if I can, because I'd be close to going to work or whatever. But I'm definitely gonna check out that game. So good luck to the SEC teams, Alabama and Tennessee, both playing for a chance to make it to the Final Four. These guys are looking for a chance to break past that Elite Eight that Tennessee seems to can't. Because this is Tennessee's third time going to Elite Eight, right? Or is it the second? They went back in
Second.
2010. Second.
It'll be their second
Okay.
time ever.
It'd be a second time because they went in 2010 when they lost to UConn about 1 point, I think it was. So
Mhm.
we definitely look forward to our guys pushing forward. Chris, do we still have any SEC win? Well, How many SEC teams do we still have in the women's side of the tournament?
So we got LSU,
LSU, South Carolina.
South Carolina. Where's Tennessee at?
Oh wow, that's good. So Tennessee has. Well, didn't Tennessee go out west? I think.
Trying to figure out where they're at.
I think they went out west to a west bracket as well too. Like they probably the women and men's team probably stayed in the same hotel.
Who do they play? Oh, they got put out by North Carolina State.
Oh, North Carolina.
got-
That's right. That's right. Because you just mentioned it. Yeah. So we only got two
LSU.
teams left in the women's.
LSU and South Carolina, yeah.
There you go. So so definitely heads up and hats off to those guys, those ladies who have made it for the women's side of the ball. South Carolina, which is no big surprise, and LSU make it. Excuse me, is not a big surprise too as well. So who do they play? Who does LSU play? I mean, who does South Carolina play?
South Carolina will play. I'm just looking at it. South Carolina will play Oregon State
Okay.
for a trip to the Final Four. LSU plays UCLA in the elite. Well, in the Sweet, they play UCLA next,
Okay.
but they would have to go through. Their bracket
Gotta
is
support
Iowa,
the women.
Colorado, UCLA, and LSU.
And I
So
think
they got-
South Carolina and Iowa, they're in the same region, right?
No,
They would have to
LSU,
they on
and, LSU,
LSU
and
and what's
Iowa.
name is on the
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I remember them saying that because some people was kind of hoping
And
it was on.
Iowa plays Colorado, and Colorado has already beaten LSU in Baton Rouge by double digits.
This is March Madness, man. This is crazier things have happened. I just hope that that LSU be like, okay, we can still win this ball game even though we got beat.
So we mentioned North Carolina State men and women are still in it.
Yes.
The Duke women are playing UConn for a trip to the Elite Eight.
Come on. You said they're playing UConn for a trip to the what's the name?
Duke
on,
and UConn. Yep.
Come
Duke
on,
and UConn
UConn.
play for a trip to the Elite Eight.
Come on, UConn. Let's go.
So Duke and UConn men and women are still both in it, just like North Carolina State.
And exactly, yeah. So you got that's those are happy athletic directors right now.
Yeah.
Too happy. Like, you know what? I think you might keep your job for another year. You know what I mean?
I think we got some happy fans now.
Yeah.
Our brand new head coach yesterday after his press conference walked outside and he saw a frat house that had a big sign hanging up in front of it. Said, "Welcome, Coach Byington." And he went over and chilled out at the frat house for a while. Okay.
He is trying to get the Vandy fans, especially the student body, to start buying back into a to a program that can still be restored that can still make some noise, as you say, in the SEC, and hopefully get back to the big dance and then show people why Vandy has the opportunity to be, to be good again.
If you remember, Memorial Gym used to be that used to be a place nobody wanted to go play.
I mean, it was always, even for Kentucky, we always didn't seem to always play our best there. Those rising up the floors, and it's like, can we just get out of here with a win?
Right. So you get them fans in there, and you get that building rocking like it used to rock. Sky's the limit.
And it's amazing what a little hope can do to a fan base.
Yep.
Unless
I'm excited.
Unless it's Kentucky. Unless it's Kentucky. So,
I've been kind of vocal on that too.
On which one? On
on
Kentucky?
Kentucky.
In what way?
If Kentucky fires a coach that wins 70 to 80% of his games every single year, do you remember what happened in Nebraska football when they fired Frank Solich? This guy averaged 10 wins a year, won a national championship, and they fired him. They've been irrelevant since. And if you're firing a coach for winning 80 to 75 and 80% of his games every single year, what are we doing?
Well, let me ask you this though, Chris. Let me ask you this question though. Yes, we win that many ball games, but isn't it about at the end of the day? At the end of the day, you don't hang banners because you have a good regular seasons, right?
Okay. But at the end of the day, there's 300 teams in Division One,
Yeah.
and acting like you have a right to hang a banner just because of your name is just it's insane.
Well, I don't think it's a I don't necessarily think it's and I don't really speak for all the Kentucky fans, so I just speak on behalf of what I think and what the loyal BBN fan show would say. I would say this: it's not necessarily about putting up a banner every single year, but it is about getting past St. Peter's. It is about getting past Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Like we know that if we play 100 times Oakland, we're probably going to beat them 98 times, 98 to 99 times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If we play St. Peter's, we're going to beat them out of 100 times, 99 times at least. They'll cough up. Them beating us just can't be in the NCAA tournament. You know, they can't.
But that's
That's
the
not
only
where they're supposed to beat us at.
but that's the only time you'll play them. You won't risk losing the game to them during the regular season.
UNC Wilmington knocked us off at home.
How often does a mid-major program or less than mid-major program come into Rupp and win?
More so recently than before years. We're just being and all of those uncalled wins is happening up under John Calipari. We didn't have that with we didn't have that with other teams. We had a
But is
reputation like a lot of teams. We had a reputation for protecting home court, and we haven't been solid like that. We was on the verge of losing four home games in a row this year, and we never did that in Kentucky basketball history
but
years ago.
but isn't that a product of the changing culture with NIL and fourth and fifth year seniors and older rosters versus having the young team every year?
Yes, it is. It is. But you let a team, okay, Vanderbilt, you let a team come in and beat you guys. Let's see, I don't know. Let's just say,
Grambling State last year.
and that hurt. And how angry was you when you guys let Grambling come in and beat y'all?
I kept it in perspective because I knew that team won their conference. That was a good basketball team. So I keep it in context.
And you know what? That's the same with UNC Wilmington. Those guys, they got a whip too. But
Yeah.
still, you guys are you. If we're being real, even though it's and no disrespect to Vandy, but it's Vandy and Vandy shouldn't lose to Grambling State,
But
right or
but
wrong.
with the changes in the dynamics in college basketball,
Yes, absolutely. It gives those
I
teams a chance.
I get why it happens,
Yeah.
and you're going to see a lot more of it going forward.
Well, the maybe and even as a
Okay,
Kentucky fan,
let's
I've
put it
asked the
this way.
question. Yeah.
Okay, let's put it this way. The stories are out here that when they hired Mark Byington at Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
they handed him $7 million in cash and told him to go buy a championship team.
Really?
What's Kentucky doing?
Well,
If the if the
Kentucky's in.
story's if the story's true,
Yeah.
and he's got $7 million to go buy a team that can win a championship, how's Kentucky respond to that?
Well, first of all, Kentucky hasn't been doing right for the NIL as well. Kentucky's been they haven't been. Let's just say, and as a Kentucky fan, once again, Kentucky has been living foul when it comes to NIL. Kentucky has not been living up to par with those guys, and it's too much going on behind the scenes that is not allowing these guys to get their NIL deals. If it's true, allegedly, because I know when you start getting online and start talking, it's so important to use that word allegedly.
Right,
So
right.
you're not just putting out facts. But allegedly, it hasn't been all peaches and cream with the NIL for Kentucky when it comes to NIL. So they got to do better. They got to do better. But that puts pressure. If that's the case, allegedly, if they gave the coach for Vandy $7 million and say go build a team, a championship team, everyone in the SEC has to take notice.
Right.
Not just Kentucky. Every team has to take notice because we understand is we have the money, we get ready to go pay, and this is what we're about to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
But you have boosters willing to do that.
You got boosters willing to do that, and because of the relationships with John Calipari and the boosters, it's been that disconnect that hasn't been there like it has so far, like it is with Mark Stoops and the boosters. Those guys are really close. He hangs out, he goes to parties, he mingles. I don't think that's not the same way with Cal. Cal isolates himself, and Cal puts himself in the world all by himself because Cal hangs out with the NBA guys and Cal hangs out with Drake and like stuff like that, and not the boosters. But anyway, really, I appreciate you coming on with me. I know it was the last minute. I really wanted to come on and just kind of talk about the SEC teams who actually Alabama and give those guys their credit, their props for being able to get into the Elite Eight. Tennessee for the ability to get into the Elite Eight, and I didn't want those guys. We're an SEC podcast, so I definitely want to come and give those guys the respect that they deserve and all of that. So definitely, but I definitely appreciate you coming on. I appreciate it. Vandy represents her. Our Tennessee guy was unable to come on tonight. I know he's happy. He's doing a family function, so he wasn't able to come on. But I know he's definitely sleeping good tonight, knowing that his Tennessee Vols made it back to those guys. And shout out to Wesley. He used to be our Alabama rep for football as well too. So I know he's happy that his guys are going to, which he probably didn't expect it as well neither. He probably didn't expect it. But appreciate you guys for joining us. I really do, Chris. Thank you once again. And let's just see what happens in the Elite Eight.
I'm tying some anchors to the feet of two SEC teams because I'm tired of everybody else winning. It's my turn.
That's it's this.
So
is
if it has to start now, I'm tying anchors to their feet.
I know, right? Come on, SEC, let's bring this championship home. Oh, I can't believe I said that. But I said SEC. I didn't throw out a team, so I guess that's okay. I guess I got to live with whatever happens. But thank you guys for joining, Chris. You have a great evening, and I appreciate it once again. This has been Second to None. I'm Michael. This is Chris, and we're out. Thanks.